Alright, now on to ESFPs. So I, an ENFJ, am going to tell you my honest opinion of an ESFP. And before I get into the video, I just want to do a disclaimer. I don't speak for all ENFJs here, I'm just one person, I'm an individual. And I don't condone stereotyping based on type. I'm just thought it'd be fun to share my opinion based on how I have interacted with the ESFPs that I've known in my life. I'm not trying to condone any stereotyping of an ESFP. So make sure that you think for yourself after watching this video. Okay, so if you watched my ENTJ video, something I said was that I like all of them, but not all of them like me. That is kind of how I feel about ESFPs as well. I basically like all of them, but not all of them like me. But the difference is, so if you're aware, if you're not aware, Carl Jung's cognitive functions says that ESFPs and ENTJs have the same cognitive functions. So in this way, I feel that they're similar, but the difference is that ESFPs, they basically always like me off the bat, but some of them will like get gradually salty with me or gradually annoyed with me, but the way that they deal with it, as opposed to telling me what I did wrong or what their problem is with me, they'll either pretend like there's not an issue and just make little jokes like undermining me and like pretend it's not an issue and be like, oh my gosh, I love you or whatever. Or they'll like hang out without me, or they'll just stop talking to me. And I would guess that like the healthier ESFPs would just decide to stop talking to me. But my opinion of them is that they're so much fun and I love them. And I think that sometimes I feel intimidated around them because I wish I was that fun and I wish I was go with the flow. And some of my like ESFP friends, they'll be pretty funny. It's kind of a stereotype to say that ESFPs are like the partiers or like slutty or whatever. Like, that's not true. But I do think that every ESFP I've met is like a lot more comfortable with their sexuality than I am. And so it's funny, like a lot of my ESFP friends like from high school or whatever will sort of like tease me in that regard. Like I just had a birthday and my ESFP friend like Snapchatted me like when I wasn't looking and then made the caption be like, Megan needs to get sexually awakened, any takers? And wow, I can't believe I'm putting this on YouTube. Well, anyway, she said it, not me. And that's just sort of the thing she thought was funny. And it was fine, like it was funny or whatever, but like I think that ESFPs, a lot of their humor is like calling people out, but like to me, I like it, because I mean, it just, when they call people out, it like is just like showing you that they are noticing you. And for an ESFP to give you attention, that means they like you, because they don't have to give you attention. There's so many other things they could be doing like with their life. I think that they, similar to what I said about ENFPs, sometimes I feel like I have to, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wish that you were optimizing your potential, like you have so much potential, like why aren't you doing anything about it? But the difference is that I think ESFPs get that life is a journey, and whereas ENFPs will like have a goal that they'll like slack on and like go back and forth about. ESFPs, they have their dreams and they might need to be pushed a little bit to get there, But I think that whenever they aren't going for them, it's not necessarily that they are lazy about it, but more so that they understand, like, I'm young, like, I could take my time, like, why don't I just relax? And why don't I just have fun, like, in my 20s and, like, gradually work up to it? And I think that's a pretty decent worldview to have. But similar to ENFPs, I sort of envy the ESFP's creative energy, and I like wish like if I had that, like I'd be tapping into it a lot. And I don't know, like one of my friends like wants to be a comedian, and she's an ESFP, and I just really want to see her do that, see her fulfill that dream, and like she's so funny, and I really want her to. And oh, one thing about ESFPs is that they never seem to learn their lesson, like when they've made a mistake. Like, a lot of times they'll date, like, asshole guys or whatever that will cheat on them. And then they'll, like, keep going back to them or something for some reason. But I think is so awesome, and that's something that I so respect about ESFPs, is that they seem to have a level of self-awareness about it. Like, one of my friends is like, yeah, I'm trash. Yeah, whatever, like, I can't resist him, like, I'm just gonna go for it, and, like, I'll learn eventually. And, like, I really just appreciate that it's, like, belief and faith in the fact that life is a journey and that you're learning lessons along the way. And even though they can be sort of image conscious, they aren't perfectionists, and that's really refreshing to be around. Maybe ESFPs shame themselves in certain regards. Like, I'm not saying that they don't have any negative self-talk, but they seem to be genuinely happy and positive and optimistic, which I really like. I think that some of them... So, I guess I just want to make a disclaimer that, like... Okay, maybe I don't love all ESFPs. I mean, I guess I do, but, like, there seems to be certain types of them, like, I wasn't friends with, like, the popular girl archetype of an ESFP, like, to be honest. Like, although I might, like, laugh at their jokes, like, in class or whatever, like, growing up or whatever, like, I was in theater and choir and speech and debate, and so the sort of ESFPs that I was around were, like, the more theatrical kind that were more, like, okay being themselves and more, like, wanting to be the class clown and, like, the weird one. While there are quite a bit of ESFPs that, there are quite a lot of ESFPs that, do really care about image and are very shallow, but that's definitely a stereotype, and you can say that about pretty much all people, that all people are pretty shallow. But ESFPs, based on their desires to be loved and to be seen, I think can make them a little bit more susceptible to that. Something I just thought of, though, is that ESFP guys make great, like, friends with benefits because they're so honest with you, and it's like, I just get their deal, like, right off the bat. Like, I don't know, like, I don't know why that is. It seems like TPs, on the other hand, like, don't know how to deal with me because they'll, like, start to like me or something. But I don't know, like, FPs, I don't think an ESFP has ever liked me in that way that I know of. A lot of them, probably just think I'm too much or something. Like, even, like, one of my ESFP friends, like, in high school would just joke, like, Megan, why are you still talking? But, like, I know that she was doing it in, like, a friendly way, and, like, I also think that for her, like, she'll, like, make fun of me for being extra, but, like, she's extra, so she can't really say anything, you know? I think going out with ESFPs, like, in a group is so fun because I think that they're, like, the one type that can kind of get me out of my head. Well, really all SPs. STPs can kind of do this too, but ESFPs are really just good at getting me to enjoy the moment, and they're really good to like go to concerts with and stuff, and just banter with them. And yeah, like one of my friends, the same, like, well, I have a few of them, but like my good ESFP friend, like from high school or whatever, like we went to this poetry thing, and I just turned to her, I'm like, why do I feel like we don't fit in here? And then she's like, because we aren't depressed and we don't take life too seriously. And I'm like, yeah, like we should go. And she's like, yeah, let's go. Like, it was just kind of funny, like, and no offense to people that do poetry, like, I really like poetry too, like, that's why I wasn't sure, like, why we didn't fit in there, because I really enjoy it as an art form, but I think what it was is that there's a lot of, like, NFPs there that were, like, really just drowning in themselves or whatever, and, I don't know, like, I also enjoy how ESFPs, like, if you were close with them once, like, they're never going to stop caring about you. Like, you're always going to be a part of their life. Also, yeah, I have a lot of, like, family friends and, like, aunts that are ESFPs that are so adorable because they're always like, oh my gosh, Megan, like, I wish I was you. Like, tell me the scoop. Like, tell me everything that's going on. Like, they would ask me, like, when I was in school, like, tell me what's going on at school, like, do you like any boys? And they would just, like, sit me down and talk to me, and, like, honestly, it's so entertaining. Like, I feel like I could talk to an ESFP for, like, a really long time. I mean, honestly, they give me attention, and I like attention, so, they're so confident. They're so confident. They're so free. They're so happy. They don't feel guilted into doing things they don't want to do. I think that there isn't really anything bad I can say about them, but I also feel like there's something about their personality where we don't tend to just click right off the bat the way I do with other types. Like, honestly, NFPs and NTPs are the type of people where I meet them and they become my best friend overnight. I don't know if that's just because I don't know if that's just an NP thing or something, but, like, ESFPs, at least in my experience, I've never met one that has sustained enough of an amount of curiosity about me and about the things that I think about to really be inseparable. But they're also such an important force in my life, you know? I probably need more of them around, to be honest. Especially whenever I'm, like, thinking too much into things, and they give really good, like, relationship advice. They're the ones that'll be like, honey, break up with them. Or, like, just stop talking to them. You're glowing. You're awesome. Like, they're so validating. They really just exemplify this, like, strong, independent woman, I don't need no man, like, archetype, which I realize I'm talking a lot about girls right now. I honestly don't know that many ESFP men. Actually, there's one I know that, like, I don't know if he knows how obvious he is, but he'll, like, Snapchat me, like, oh, I'm just drinking a beer alone. And I'm like, okay, like, are you gonna ask me to hang out or no? And, I don't know, ESFP boys are interesting. A lot of them tend to fit, like, that, like, frat boy, like, archetype, and I don't really get along with that, but I'm sure there are a lot of amazing ESFP men that I just haven't met. I think that they're a lot more creative than, like, the descriptions give them credit. they're really present with you, and that's really important to me. What else? They really are just the life of the party, I think. Like, a lot of times ENFJ descriptions will make it seem like we're the life of the party, but I actually think ENFJs organize the party and get people together and are like the glue in friend groups, but like it wouldn't be fun unless the ESFP was there. Like, for my birthday, when my ESFP friend, like, I have this window over here, and I'm like on the second floor or whatever, but you can go freaking stand out on the roof if you want or whatever, and I like never did it because I just sort of looked at it like, oh, that's funny, I could stand there if I wanted, like I don't have any blinds or anything. And then of course, like, when my ESFP friend came over, she had to try it out for herself, and she stood out on the roof and like danced for a second, and then like came back in and like almost got stuck in the window. Like, I don't know, they just always bring like energy and pizzazz, and I think that a lot of times I get stuck in my head and I forget to understand like how good I have it, like, and also just I forget to be grateful for things or whatever. And I don't know, but I will say too though that ESFPs can get pretty butthurt, and they don't really know how to solve emotional issues with other people. They seem to just prefer to be happy, and if something isn't easy or fun, they probably are just gonna stop. But that's the one thing, is that if they ever piss me off or whatever, like, they don't seem to really resolve conflict well. They'll like pretend that everything's fine, or they will just be bitchy. Like, they'll say it's fine, but they'll just be a bitch. And like ENFPs, whenever they pretend that everything's fine, they like aren't really capable of being a bitch. They'll just sort of ignore you or whatever, or be passive aggressive. But like ESFPs, if they're mad at you, they'll like try and one up you, or like try and like make petty jabs at you. Like, they could be petty as fuck, like pretty petty when they're mad, which is kind of annoying. But all right, that's all I have to say about ESFPs. I think they're pretty great. I also love most people. I love like all personality types, really, but an ESFP is someone that you want on your side, I will say, for sure. Thanks for listening to my video about ESFPs. If you want more like this, subscribe and comment if you have any ideas or video ideas that you'd like me to talk about. All right, have a good evening. Bye.